This Week in Gaming with Naomi Kyle.
Hello everyone, I'm Naomi Kyle and welcome back to This Week in Gaming. This week we're catching up on the 2025 Game Awards and chatting with the folks behind Synth Riders as the popular VR game officially launches on the Switch. We've got all of this week's gaming news, so let's get started. 2025 marks yet another outstanding year in the history of gaming, and the Game Awards serves to honor each year's greatest video games. Each year, host of the awards Jeff Keighley sets the bar higher and higher, and this year's award ceremony was no exception. The live performances were outstanding, and best of all, we saw announcements for brand new games that are currently in development. Here are some of my favorites. Kicking off the Game Awards was a trailer for the atmospheric adventure title The Free Shepherd, in which you play as an energetic border collie rescuing flocks of sheep in the gorgeous Icelandic countryside. The Free Shepherd is releasing on PS5 and PC in 2027. Several titles at the Game Awards were confirmed with release dates for next year. Neo 3 is just a couple months away from its February 6th release date. Solasta 2 is coming out on March 12th, 2026. Pragmata has finally been given an official release date. It launches on April 24th, 2026. Saros premieres on April 30th, 2026. LEGO Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight is launching on May 29th, 2026. And Phantom Blade Zero will be playable on September 9th, 2026. A trailer for Bradley the Badger was shown off as the first game from Day 4 Night Studios. The self-aware action platformer spoofs beloved popular titles like The Last of Us, Bloodborne, Cyberpunk, and more. World premieres for 2 new Star Wars games were revealed, 1 Star Wars Galactic Racer and 2 Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic, the next entry in the Knights of the Old Republic series. Larian Studios, who won Game of the Year in 2023 for Baldur's Gate 3, are returning to their roots and making the next game in the Divinity series, simply titled Divinity. Larian says that Divinity is going to be their biggest title yet and may take a while, so don't hold your breath. J.J. Abrams' studio Bad Robots is dipping their toe into game development and announced a trailer for their first game, a tactical 4-player co-op shooter titled For Loop. A trailer for a quirky game titled Coven of the Chickenfoot caught my eye with its unique cel-shaded art style. The game follows the unlikely protagonist Gertie, an elderly witch bound to a mysterious creature who together embark on an adventure to fulfill her coven's oath. The makers of the Amnesia games showed off a trailer for their next horrifying title, Ontos. Capcom shared a new trailer for Resident Evil Requiem, confirming rumors that the game will feature Leon, a fan favorite of the Resident Evil series. Order of the Sinking Star is a new game from the creator of Braid and The Witness. The game will be their biggest challenge yet, as it is said to feature over 1,000 interconnected puzzles and could take more than 500 hours to complete. Warlock is a new third-person action-adventure title set in the dark and fantastical world of Dungeons & Dragons. A trailer for Control Resonant was revealed. The game is both a sequel and a new entry point into the Control universe. Yakuza creator Toshiro Nagoshi surprised everyone with a new game that would fit right in with the Yakuza franchise, but the new title, Gang of Dragon, is a new game all on its own and will be the first game out of Nagoshi's new studio. We got new trailers for Super Mario Galaxy, which was admittedly a little short, and a first look at the new Street Fighter movie that is coming to theaters on October 16th, 2026. Not 1, but 2 new Tomb Raider titles were revealed at the Game Awards. Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis is a reimagining of the 1996 title and comes out in 2026, and Tomb Raider Catalyst is taking the franchise in a bold new direction. Nintendo showed off a new co-op game coming to the Switch titled Orbitals. The long-awaited sequel to Lords of the Fallen was revealed at the awards. Lords of the Fallen 2 is coming out later in 2026. Highguard was saved as the last game shown at the awards. Highguard is a multiplayer raid-focused shooter being developed by former devs who have worked on Titanfall and Apex Legends. We won't have to wait much longer to see if it plays as good as it looks, because it is set to launch on January 26th, 2026. So that covers most of the reveals and premieres that the Game Awards is so well known for. But most importantly, the awards serve to honor the best games of 2025. Here are the games that took home the gold. Donkey Kong Bonanza won for Best Family Game. Arc Raiders won Best Multiplayer Game. Hades 2 won Best Action Game. South of Midnight earned the Games for Impact Award. Hollow Knight Silksong won Best Action Adventure Game, and Clair Obscur Expedition 33 was awarded Best Indie Game and Best Debut Indie Game. Jennifer English won for Best Performance, then Expedition carried on collecting awards for the Best Art Direction, Best Score, Best RPG, Best Narrative, Best Game Direction, and the coveted Game of the Year award, amassing a total of 9 awards, surpassing the previous record of 7 awards held by The Last of Us Part 2 and Baldur's Gate 3. 2025 was another spectacular year for gaming, making it especially tough for a game to stand out amongst the crowd. So to all of the games nominated this year, I'd like to extend a huge congratulations for helping create another unforgettable year. Here's to 2026.
Quest complete.
So that's the news for this week. It's now time to chat with our 2 special guests, Arturo and Abraham Aquero from Kluge Interactive. Their incredibly fun rhythm game, Synth Riders, just landed on Nintendo Switch, and they're taking us behind the scenes on what it took to make the transition, what big artists and features are in this version, and how the game came to be.
Select game mode. Multiplayer.
Hey, Abraham and Arturo. Thank you so much for joining me today on This Week in Gaming. It's so good to have you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I am excited to talk about Synth Riders and all the new stuff coming for it. That's already out for it by the time this recording comes out. I should clarify. But I wanted to get to know a bit about you guys. How did you guys both get started working in video games?
Yeah, so Abraham and I met in 2010. The company, I started in Los Angeles in 2007. And we were doing a lot of web design and UX and product design stuff. I think we did that for about 10 years. And then around 2016, we started a labs, an incubator in the company. It was a 10 person agency. And basically we were sick of websites. We got to do something else. And Abraham started prototyping games for a couple of years until Synth Riders came along.
Amazing. And I heard that there was kind of a weird pathway that you guys took through Instagram, like an Instagram account that's about 80s nostalgia. Tell me about that.
Yeah, that was we created a social channel, an Instagram account called Retrowave VR, which was pretty much like at that time, Synthwave was pretty. I was pretty obsessed with Synthwave at that time.
You can say that again.
Yeah. At the same time, I discovered there was like a bunch of visual artists that was also, reimagining the 80s, visually. And it was like, a perfect match because that in that account, we used to highlight and feature, synthwave music from new artists and art for, this group of people. And sometimes we combine them. And that was one of the things that people liked a lot, like how you like the way that we were combining, the visual with the music, and sometimes just, them separate, but people, in the morning, like checking the DMs was like, a bunch of people sending me stuff like, I produced this new song. Can you highlight it in your channel?
Wow.
It was crazy. It was very inspiring because, that was, I think, for me, the source of what the style and the music come together to create Synth Riders.
Yeah, I love it. I'm particularly a big fan of synthwave, actually. Is there any synthwave that you like that you're just a fan of? Any artists or anything that maybe in pop culture, people who haven't listened to too much of synthwave but could get to know it a little bit more?
We do have 3 music packs of synthwave on Synth Riders right now.
That is a lot. We should
With
actually
all the
get
essentials.
Yeah.
Sunset Neon, Robert Parker, Wise. There's Steels is another one. Wave Shaper, I'm very fan of
Starcadian. We chase Starcadian around.
Yes.
Those are great. Awesome. Let's cut to Games Out this week real quick, and I'll be right back with you guys later.
Games Out this week.
Starting on December 15th, Synth Riders sings right onto the Nintendo Switch. On December 17th, Drink Human Beings clocks in exclusively on PC. Then on December 18th, Olympia Suade Catharsis makes a match on Nintendo Switch. Dadish 4 sprouts on PC, Switch, and mobile devices. And on December 19th, Layers of Fear, the final Masterpiece Edition, creeps onto Nintendo Switch 2. Avatar Frontier of Pandora from the Ashes DLC exacts revenge on the PS5, PC, and Xbox Series X and S.
Quest accepted.
All right, so let's get into it. Synth Riders, how did it come to be? I mean, you already talked about the 80s nostalgia and stuff, but how did you guys build out this game, and what was the process like?
So as I was mentioned at the beginning, was this obsession with synthwave and 80s new I would say like new retro wave art inspired. Which was technically people taking reference from Blade Runner or Star Wars or Never Ending Story.
Tron.
So yeah,
that's a good one.
So yeah. So I think we started with defining the aesthetic was one of the things that we tackled first at that time. Once we have something that because one of the main things that we wanted to highlight, especially in VR, because you can see things that are like real life size, or you can magnify everything. So at that time, one of the iconic things that I think was that people used to use a lot as a resource was like gigantic buildings or gigantic a monolith or some things like that. So we wanted to bring that to the game. Okay. But also from the music perspective, one of the things that we wanted to do very well was how we can what's the gameplay element that can translate very well with synthwave, the synthesizer, those long notes. It's something that you feel like go up and down, left or right, and get you to that mood. And we call it rails in the game, and as well in that we have it in VR as well as in the Switch version. So that was pretty much like the two pieces, the two key pieces of the game, from the visual part and the music part.
Did you guys always know from the onset you wanted it to be VR, or was there exploration to have it be, kind of like Dance Dance Revolution or something like that?
No, VR was the original medium that inspired us. We decided to do this right after like native mobile had already been a thing, and we were like, we have to jump ahead of where technology is. And Abraham, as you can probably hear, he's got such an artistic brain, and I think VR was the obvious choice in terms of where we can have the most immersive experience possible.
Yeah, no, I totally feel like, especially with these types of games, I was also curious how you guys decided then, okay, we're going to get this on the Switch, and what that process was like. Did you have to make a lot of changes to get it to fit for that platform?
Yeah. Yeah, that was years in the making. Ever since Abraham started prototyping VR, he already knew that he wanted to go cross-platform, and he prototyped a few things throughout the years. But then I think when we started thinking of Switch is when it really clicked, and I think Abraham had a bit of a breakthrough.
Yeah, I think in VR you are the writer. So in Switch we wanted to how we can represent the writer to be, the key piece of the gameplay. So instead of like going in the direction of something like Guitar Hero that you technically is a guitar, we wanted to introduce the writer. So the writer is the person that performed the whole action. Right. And Arturo and myself, we are very fan of skateboard and surfboard and all that stuff, and it wasn't a complicated decision. I think it was let's do something like Tony Hawk with in a rhythm game.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's great. I love that you guys at it from that perspective too. What about the new features that you guys have coming for this platform, for the Switch version of the game? I really want to get into that. So explain to me, someone who perhaps is already a fan of Synth Riders, when they're hopping into this new version of the game on Switch, what can they expect that's going to be different?
It's so in many ways it's surprisingly similar in terms of the essence and the feel of it. So we have our most famous mechanic is our rails. They're there as a long haul. So you press and you feel it. And so from a feeling perspective, I was very surprised how similar it goes. But then there's a few in ways new mechanics and in ways like a continuation of things we always wanted to do. So that one of the main mechanics that is new is this skating, that Tony Hawk like mechanic that we wanted to do something more with the rail, and so we brought this to the table, and it really we really like it. And then you can do jumps and fly, and there's a few things that you do that you don't do in the original game. But then it also has entirely new modes. It's the first time when we introduce riders. We have all sorts of progression systems like cosmetics and reward systems. But then we also have a campaign mode, a story to it. So Synth Riders there's always been this little tiny story of like dancers and big bad robots and very 80s like storyline. And we really play with that, maybe surprising. And then I think one of the coolest things we brought is this boss fight at the end of the campaign mode. So it's both highly visual and pretty interactive. I don't know, Abraham, do you want to talk about the boss fight in particular?
Yeah, it's it's a big spider at the end. It moved with the beat and attack you with the beat as well. I think that the team did pretty well with the boss fight. I don't want to give you too much,
Too many spoilers.
Spoilers.
Too many spoilers. Why spider? Was there a particular reason you chose that? Creature?
No, I think the Evil Corp, which is this corporation that the writers are fighting against, they have like a tiny robot that, it started something simple, and at the end we ended up doing okay, what if this robot gets super mad and transformed to a big spider or something like So it ended up as spider because we wanted to hold the what we call it the beat track, which is a track where you do your when the notes are. So we wanted the boss to grab it and have other tentacles or not tentacles, like arms to attack you. So
yeah. That's good. And then it makes it a lot more complex for the player to have to fight and makes it more challenging. Yeah. What are some of the big artists? Because, of course, big part of this game is the music. So what can we expect going in? I heard there's some new big artists that you guys have added this time around.
Yeah, we brought out Lady Gaga, which we're excited about.
I love Lady Gaga. I'm a monster. I'm a little monster. She's great. Anyone else?
Well, we have in general, that's the sort of the new release with the Switch, but we did bring a lot of 80s artists like Queen, and then we have Gorillaz, and we have a pack called Current Waves with like people like Charlie XCX and Artemis.
Love.
There's 64 songs total. The game right now has I think over 150 songs on the other side, and we plan to sort of combine both bringing over as much of the entire library as we can, and then keep doing new releases as well.
Amazing. Do you have any dream artists that you haven't had on there that you're hoping to get some point in the future?
Abraham has his heart set on one artist.
Who is
Daft
it?
Punk.
Yes. Oh my God.
We're not in talks. We haven't tried it, but that's one of our faves.
That would be mind blowing. Yes, I'm totally on board with that. Yes, I'm so sad that they're kind of semi-retired. I don't know if they're coming back, but if they do, we need to get them on
Hopefully,
this.
at least one more album.
Come on, just one more. We love you guys. You guys left too soon. They're great. So I want to ask quickly if you guys have, experienced any really fun fan moments, just like people talking to you about how much they love this game. What has the reception been like for you guys?
Well, First, I just want to say, like, without our fans, this wouldn't be a game. We launched very early 2018. And I personally saw, I think what made us successful was, particular Abraham would just sit there like 24/7, just watching every Twitch stream happening around the game. And they would people were literally tweaking us, like helping us improve note by note. And so a lot of our full-time employees are now Ed's community members. We really built this with the community. It's very exciting to come to a new platform. At the same time, it's scary, right? Because we're so established on one side, and then people are like, "That's surprising," but we're looking. Hopefully, we can learn this not only the platform but the community that the platform brings. We're excited about that, and seeing the reception from Switch fans and people that know this console and don't even own a headset and don't know us at all. What are they going to think about it? So we're looking forward to that.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I think we were also thinking, to not create a complete new game, but an extension of what we currently have.
An evolution of sorts.
An evolution, yeah.
That's right.
Well, the game is out right now by the time this goes live. So guys, get it for the holidays. It's the perfect holiday game. I think it's great to play with your friends, your family, whatever it is you're doing this holiday break. Get it on your Switch right now. Check it out. Guys, it was so great speaking with you, and congratulations on this new version of the game. I'm sure people are going to love it. I know I'm going to be playing it. So
amazing. Thank you for having us.
Thanks,
you so
guys.
much.
Bye.
Bye.
Play Synth Riders on the PlayStation 5, PC, Android, MetaQuest, and now on the Switch.
Flawless victory! Continue!
And that's This Week in Gaming. I'm your host, Naomi Kyle. I had the best time bringing you all the latest in games. Thank you so much for listening, and shout out to my co-writer, Josh Seaman. From all of us here at This Week in Gaming, we wish you a fun-filled week, and we'll see you again same time, same place. Thanks for listening.
This Week in Gaming is an iHeartRadio Canada podcast. Subscribe to this podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. Download the iHeartRadio app for more podcasts just like these.